Hello, happy Friday. Just realized I didn't turn on the music, so I could wait a little bit, see who's on. So I hope I'm live. The last time I got on, I realized later that nobody was on, and for some reason I wasn't on live. So I hope I am on live. Yeah, I see some people are here. Say hi. So I wanted to talk about this topic where I'm not interested in being people being in awe about me, about my work. Hi, Sabine. About what I do, about my life. I'm not interested in being anyone's savior. One of the things that I was watching a video recently with Lisa Nichols, which is a life coach, empowerment coach, motivational speaker, and she said something and it really got me thinking. And actually, you know me, I often talk about politics. It's something that matters to me. As we're leading up to President Obama leaving office and President-elect Trump getting in office, I feel like it's very much in line with what I'm going to talk about today. So Lisa Nichols said to to this guy when she was having a talk with him in his show, that she's not, when people tell her when people tell other people you're living an extraordinary life, it lets them off the hook. And it got me thinking that is very true. Because often in my journey, and let me tell you, it's not all perfect, it's not all pretty. I'm still a work in progress. I'm nowhere near where I really would like to be. People have told me, oh wow, this is so great. And this is my thing. My hope, and this is why I love what I do, is that it doesn't remain at this is so great, because I want people to take action in their own lives. I don't want them to see what I'm doing, or if they hear about what I'm talking about and I share about some of the stuff that I'm doing and that I've done, that it just stays as, oh, this is so great what Nadjejda's doing. Nadjejda's amazing. Nadjejda is inspiring. No, I want to empower people to actually take action in their own lives. One of the things, and invest in themselves. And this is why, sometimes when I tell people how much money I've spent and I'm currently spending and investing in myself, they take a step back, because I guess for them, they're not willing to go there. And if you're not willing to go there, then that means you're not ready and willing to have the life that you really want. So that's why, for me, I'm not interested in being anyone's savior or anything. And, this got me thinking about how many of us, myself included, are sad about the Obamas leaving the White House. And many of us, let's be real, we're not very pleased. We're actually concerned about the new president coming in. Because for many of us, he does not represent what we're about. Many of us are talking about being kind. We're talking about showing empathy. And at least so far, he's not showing any of that. And one of the things that I've really gotten, and the choice that I've made for myself, is that, that's something that I'm constantly reminding myself of, is that I need to be what I'm seeking. So instead of maybe talking bad about, for example, President-elect Trump being rude, which I don't have the energy to be posting about it on social media all the time, or maybe never or something, I am choosing to be kind. And, today I was watching, as I was home getting some stuff done, the TV was on. My mom was watching The View, and Vice President Biden was there. And, because of his own story, he's very somebody who really, he shows empathy. And one of the things that Whoopi Goldberg told him is how she really feels that somebody who's going to be in a position like President-elect Trump needs to have empathy. And it got me thinking about, okay, you know what? We're very concerned about President-elect Trump getting in office because he doesn't show empathy, he's not kind. How are we being in our personal lives? How are we being towards him? How are we being in our lives? So that's what I wanted to talk about, is that, and I was thinking that, well, you know what? It's actually a good thing that President Obama is leaving, because we're actually asked to show up for ourselves, because I think that in some way we're looking for a savior. We're looking for people to do the things that many times we're not actually willing to do. I mean, many of us say, oh, we love people to be authentic. We love for people to be kind, for people to show empathy. But how are we showing up in our lives? And I think it's very important, especially for us entrepreneurs, for us coaches, because as you know, as an empowerment and authenticity coach, I help with women coaches and creatives. And one of the things that my call to you coaches, to you creatives, and to any of you listening to this is to step up and show up as what you're seeking. So if it's time for you to, stop looking at, I have to say, one of the things, I work with many great coaches. I've worked with many in the past as well. I have to say, I don't see them as my saviors. I don't see them, I actually don't really see them as like, oh my God. No, I don't. Because even if they've achieved many things and they even achieved things that myself I want to get at, I don't see them as my saviors. I don't see them as what they're doing is extraordinary and that I can't do it. So what I'm asking you is to have the courage to be extraordinary. Don't just say this person is doing great things, this person has accomplished. You can do that too. And instead of looking at other people to be what you're seeking, be that yourself. That's truly my message, and I have to say that is how I choose to live my life. I can't say I succeed every time, but that is something that I've often remind myself. Just this past, maybe like 2 days ago, I can't remember when President-elect Trump has his press conference. When I came home from my walk, I walked in and I had run some errands. My mom was watching TV. I'm not a TV person, but the TV was on and Trump was on. And I'm like, really? You're watching this? When I walked in, she's like, yeah, I have to see what he's saying. I was like, okay. And I wasn't really going to pay attention to it, but that's the moment that he got into the clash with the reporter. And he was rude. But you know what? When I looked at him being rude, all it did for me, instead of talking about him and posting on social media about him, I said, you know what? I'm recommitting myself to being kind. And funny thing is, I think I had just had that conversation with somebody right before getting back home. So instead of focusing so much energy on somebody else being what you're seeking, or talking about somebody not showing up in their lives the way you want them to show up, be that. Because this is the only way that you can really make a difference. So my call to you all today is to really be what you're seeking. What is it that you're seeking? If you want to really achieve things in your life, if you want to make a difference in people's lives, if you want to really impact the world in a positive way, is for you to start taking that action and to stop looking for the president, your husband, your coaches, whoever it is, to do it for you. And that's something, actually I just realized I was gonna be a whole other post or a video from me, but I'm gonna say it since that's what come to mind right now for me, is that turn that anger, that resentment, whatever it is that you are feeling, that anxiety that you have over what's coming and what you're losing, what we feel that we're losing, is to turn it into actually fuel so that you can then be the difference. So you don't like the person to be rude. We all, I mean, we're like, wow. Because I know for me, I was like, whoa. And then I said to myself, well, you know what? There goes my opportunity again, choosing to be kind, really making a conscious choice to be kind, you know. And same thing, you know, when I look at what somebody's doing and I really love what they're doing in their business, for me, what it does is really, it tells me, okay, you know what, let me step it up. I know for myself, one of the biggest things that it really touched me was, I think it was, I don't remember, it was 2015, so it's probably going to be almost 2 years ago, when I ran into someone that I hadn't seen in a while since I left Miami and I had moved to DC, and I came back and I was at a first communion, and he said to me how in 2012 he really got engaged in President Obama's election campaign because in 2008 I had inspired him to do so. And for me, that was so powerful for me. That meant so much for me, because when people tell me that, oh, what you do is great, but yet I don't see them really taking action in their own lives, or they don't, you know, it feels good. Yeah, my ego is probably like, yeah, but you know what? When someone actually tells me that I've inspired them to take action in their lives, to get engaged, that felt really good. And the thing is that, and I was engaged in 2012 too. And this year, I didn't really get engaged that much. But I have to say that that's another thing, is that you know, you can engage someone to do something, and at some point you're not doing it because you're busy doing something else. But you planted a seed. And for me, when he said that to me, I realized how the way I live my life, the way I was engaged in President Obama's elections, both times had inspired somebody else to get involved and get engaged. And that's the thing for me, is that when I share those posts, when I, you know, because many, I mean, this is all free. You know, many people don't work with me. Many people, you know, some people work with me too. So the thing is that my thing is, when I share emails with my email list, when I really, you know, speak and everything, I know that when people put money, it's very different. Because when we put money, even though some of us put money and we don't follow through, but the thing is that when people put money, they have something in line, so they tend to take action. But I also know that when you are very determined, and sometimes, yes, especially in my line of work, I know you can only get so far from just, you know, watching those things or whichever. But when someone actually tells me that by you know, seeing what I talk about and seeing my posts and reading my stuff, that they actually seeing the way I live my life, that they take actions in their own lives, I know this, like, I am fulfilling my mission in life. So that's what I wanted to share with you. And if you're a women coach, creative, and you're struggling with really sharing your authentic self, because that's another thing for me, there was a time in my life where I probably would not have been very comfortable coming here and sharing myself. Especially, hi Madrid, I hope I said it right. I hope, you know, if there was a time in, you know, because this is another thing, if you're not fully embracing who you are, if you're not feeling empowered, you're gonna struggle resonating with your ideal clients, resonating with the people you're meant to serve with. And if you're not putting yourself out there, if you're not speaking your truth and sharing your truth, you're going to have issues really resonating with people and attracting people and booking them. So if you're struggling with that, I'd love to be able to be of service for you. Send me a message, leave me a comment, visit my website, www.lovelightcoaching.com. Request a discovery call with me. It's 30 minutes where we can see, it's 30-minute free, where we can see if we're a good fit, because we have to see if we're a good fit. So really, and if, you know, whether you're a coach or not, reach out, or like I said, leave me a comment, because really it is time for us to show up. It's time for us to stop looking for other people to be what we are seeking. And I can't think of any, you know, as much as I'm sad to see President Obama and his family leave the White House, I really feel like it's the reason why this is happening and President-elect Trump is about to go in. It's because for those of us in the States and wherever you are, because I know some of you may not be living in the United States, in your own life, instead of looking at your partner, your parents, your friends, your government leaders, whoever, your teachers, to be who you want them to be that, whatever you are seeking. So that's what I wanted to share today. And leave me a comment. I'd love to know, because that's another thing, talking about taking action. Tell me when you watched, as you're watching this, when you watch the replay, if you're not here live and you get to watch the replay, tell me what is that thing for you that you are seeking and you are not seeing it in other people, or you're seeking it in other people, and you're actually going to make the choice to be that thing for you, be that thing yourself, embody it. You know, empathy is so important. Yes. And when Whoopi said we need that in the White House, I was thinking, okay, Whoopi, do you show empathy? Is that who you're being? Because I think it's very, sometimes we go about, and I'm not saying she's not, but we need to be what we're seeking. And I think that too often we put the burden on other people to show up the way we want them to show up, when we're not even willing to actually be responsible and show up that way. So let's be responsible people. Let us be the light. Let us be our own, you know, what we're seeking. So, you know, I love this quote, and it's very much in line with what I'm saying. Be the change that you wish to see. So thank you. Have a great weekend. Love and light. If you find this helpful, give it a share, because sharing is caring. Because I really would love this message to be shared with anyone, with everyone, because I know many of us are currently feeling a bit distressed about, and it's not just the States, for many places, the state of the world, because it's not just the United States that is going through something, many other places around the world. So, and it's not just in our own, like the government and stuff. These are things like all over our lives. So thanks for listening. Thanks for joining me. I see Malika's here, Carlene. Okay, ladies, love and light. Take care.